Welcome to the first episode of The Impossible Nona, where I attempt to make all the Italian family recipes with Impossible Burger. So we're going to start with a classic tonight, Impossible Balls. Here we go. First step. Drop some marinara into the Instapot and set it to slow cook. I made this the other day. I recommend you make your own, but you can also use store-bought if you like. These meatballs, or Impossible Balls, have bread, not breadcrumbs. It's a big secret. It's not a secret anymore. But if you use bread instead of breadcrumbs, the meatballs, or Impossible Balls, are a lot easier to cut and eat. Okay, we'll break this bread up into some smaller pieces and then pulse it a few times in the Cuisinart and then set it to grind it up. Okay, now we'll take our Impossible Burger. It looks a lot like ground beef. And we'll start our meatball mix here. You can add some salt and pepper to taste. It's entirely up to you how much. Some Worcestershire for the umami. You could substitute anchovy paste, maybe if you want, and some brown sugar. Hunk of Parmesan cheese or Pecorino Romano. I'm going to take the rind off there and drop it into our sauce. That'll add a little extra flavor as it pressure cooks. And then I'll chop up the cheese, take out the breadcrumbs that are raw breadcrumbs, right? So just ground up fresh bread. A day or two old bread, doesn't have to be all that fresh. And then cut up an onion again, just into chunks for the Cuisinart. And then we'll pulse those along with some fresh basil, a couple cloves of garlic, and then also a chili de arbol, maybe some crushed red pepper instead, a dash of oregano if you want. You can pulse it a few times, it's up to you how much. And then we'll add an egg to our mix as a binder and keep everything together. And then here we're going to add the onion mixture in with the rest of the good stuff there. And finally we'll grind up the cheese. How much is up to you. I always start with a few pulses and then let it go for a little bit. Now the fun part, we get to mix this with our hands. And now we're going to roll them out and drop them in our sauce. So we're going to roll these into balls and put them in the sauce. The size I go for is usually around, I don't know, between a golf ball and a cricket ball, I'd say, about like that. And you want to get maybe 9 to 12 of these. So we're going to roll them out now. And the size is really up to you, but that's what works for me. So we're going to roll these out and put them in a single layer there in the pressure cooker. They should be submerged. If not, you can add some water. And then we're going to pressure cook on low for 20 minutes. And in the meantime, cook your favorite pasta, which for me is rigatoni. Okay, I'm going to pressure release the Instapot. Take out the meatballs. Impossible balls. No meat involved. They look really good. They hold together nicely. After 20 minutes in the pressure cooker, I'm going to 5-minute natural release. I'm going to combine cooked pasta and sauce. Okay, it's time to put it all back together again and serve it up. Maybe 2 meatballs. You can top that with Parmesan if you like, or some fresh basil, crushed red pepper. Let's take a look. Alright, look at that. Wow. I seriously cannot tell that that's not a meatball. It smells like a meatball. It looks like a meatball. Does it taste like a meatball? Wow. That is really convincing. There you go. Impossible Balls.